This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened. We begin on the evening of October 24th, 1989, at a truck stop cafe in Taft, Florida. Almost every night for the past 2.5 years, waitress Mickey Speck has had a regular customer, 72-year-old Dominic Davanzo.
I worked the 10 to 6 shift, which I'm there by myself. I described him as my little helper. He was there to help me if someone would give me a hard time. Dominic spoke up. It just hurt me that someone would want to hurt him.
Around 11:15, Dominic left the restaurant and headed for home. Detective John Mock was one of the investigators on the case.
His residence had been broken into 2 times prior to this evening. There's no doubt in my mind that the perpetrator or perpetrators that entered the residence to burglarize also had the intention of murdering the victim. That particular night, there was no moonlight. It was very dark. The residence is surrounded by businesses which close at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. There's absolutely no one around. He first noticed that his porch light was out. That really didn't arouse any suspicion because sometimes porch lights burn out.
He left his car headlights on temporarily to light the way into the house. Though bleeding profusely from a gunshot wound to his shoulder, Dominic managed to make his way back into the house.
The other phones had been cut on a previous burglary, but the victim had another telephone that he had concealed.
The call came in at 11:35 p.m.
911 is your emergency.
Sheriff's Department right away, please. Somebody shot me.
Somebody shot you?
Yes, hurry up, please.
Sir?
Yes?
Where were you shot?
I just come home. They broke my door in again.
Okay, just stay calm, okay? We have people on the way.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay, where were you shot at?
Right below my left shoulder. Ma'am.
Orlando's enhanced 911 system automatically gave operator Jackie Zagrocki the caller's name and location.
Are you Dominic?
Yes, ma'am. I'm bleeding bad.
Okay, we have people on the way. Just stay calm.
All right.
I didn't realize what kind of serious condition he was in because he was so calm and so relaxed.
She passed the essential information to dispatch.
Attention, Zone 44, Signal 18 shooting at
Sidney Hayes just occurred. FD's 1051, handle code 3 at 2322.
2651 to back.
Sheriff's deputies Bob Dow and David Legville took the call.
Don't hang up. I'm going to put my dispatcher on the phone, okay?
All right.
Okay, do you know who might have shot you at all?
Ma'am?
Do you know who might have shot you at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so they were in your house when you got home?
No, ma'am. They were hiding behind the trailer.
You cannot give me any description whether they were white or black, male, female?
It's too dark over here.
Okay, did you
With each passing second, Dominic was losing more blood and growing weaker.
from behind the trailer?
No, ma'am. Are they coming?
Yes, sir, they're coming, okay? Just stay calm. He did not see the person who shot him, did not see whether they ran or if they were still there, and I was very concerned about that.
The address is generally in a rural industrial area. I was looking for a watchman or a janitor who had walked in the middle of a burglary or something and been shot.
Here they come now. Oh, they're just going by my place.
County 14480 in business name.
I don't believe it's a business. I think it's a residence.
You just go ahead and stay tight on the phone with
Go
us.
outside and see.
Okay, put the phone down, okay? But come back when you flag them down, okay?
All right.
Don't hang up.
Before we got out of the car, we could see that he was covered in blood. Deputy Dow asked for rescue immediately.
We're going to set you down. We're going to set you down right here.
My immediate concern was that we still had armed suspects in the area, and we had no cover, but yet we had to give the victim first aid. A very insecure feeling that it was an obvious possibility that he might bleed to death.
He was very coherent, a little bit angry, a little bit feisty. Being shot is a pretty traumatic experience for anybody. And it was obvious that we're dealing with an elderly gentleman here who had just undergone a lot of trauma. My concern was trying to get the blood stopped at that point.
Within 6 minutes, the Orange County Fire Rescue Division was on the scene, including EMT Debbie Marshall and paramedic Jeff Culhane.
Guy's got a gunshot wound, entry and exit. We got a hot scene. Suspects are probably still here. Okay?
We were all concerned because the scene was unsafe, and it was necessary to protect that patient as well as treat that patient.
Okay, I got a good radial pulse here. He's not shot.
My major concern for him was his breathing ability, whether or not his lung was involved, whether or not it was still functioning.
At that point, he was still pretty sweaty, grayish color, so we knew that he was going into shock. And that is a life-threatening situation.
Detective Mock arrived on the scene.
In this particular case, we have a 74-year-old victim who's absolutely no threat to anyone. I was told that the person was in critical condition and may die.
Though the area was thoroughly searched, no suspects were found that night. Six days later, an anonymous tip sent officers to a convenience store where two suspects had reportedly been sighted.
Step off the traction step and go and come this way, please.
Deputy Sheriff Tom Strickland was first on the scene.
I approached him, informed him that he was not under arrest. He was merely being detained for questioning by Detective Mock. There were several other individuals that knew I was looking for the other subject, and they pointed out that he's running across the park. That's when I went to the street and notified my supervisor and the other responding deputies.
There was a story in the Orlando Sentinel the day after the shooting. A lady had remembered reading this story when she heard one of the parties say, "If you don't stop bothering me, I'm going to shoot you like I did the old man last week." That piece of information that this lady passed on was what broke the case.
The suspects involved in the incident were subsequently convicted and sent to prison. Dominic's recuperation has been slow, but he hopes to make a full recovery.
He said, "You know, Mickey, I had a phone hidden away for a long time. And he says, and I remembered it that night, because he said, I forgot all about it. And he says, I just thank God it still worked, you know, it worked after all this time.
The sheriff's department and the paramedics, they took very good care of me, and the best they could. They did a wonderful job. I couldn't have anything better.
Our initial information was that he was going to die, and it sure looked like it when we saw him. If that phone hadn't been there, he'd been dead. Without a doubt, he would have bled to there in the living room of his house.
I got big help from what happened to me, and I figure I owe somebody help. I'm going to try it over again, yes indeed. My life is short. I'm going to enjoy every minute that I can.
Next.
When they finally grabbed him and took him away, the only thing I knew was he was not breathing at that time on his own. That meant I had a young son that was dead.
In Claremont, California, September 24th, 1989 began as just another quiet Sunday for Jerry Gabinesh and his 3 children.
My wife, Diane, is a flight attendant for a major airline. And I was playing Mr. Mom, which I do on the weekends. We had just finished breakfast, and generally on Sunday morning we'll do a little yard work. We went outside, and Wesley was out in the backyard playing on the slides. He's also riding his bike, making a little bit of noise. And the girls were in their rooms playing at that time. We have a hose that's out in the pool area. I pulled the hose out into the backyard so that I could water some plants that I had just planted. And I left the gate open. I all of a sudden noticed that there was a tremendous silence in the yard. I know there's something wrong at this point. Something was out of the ordinary. And I remember turning around, looking at the yard, and I didn't see, nor did I hear Wesley.
Girl, come help me find Wesley right now. Wesley.
From that point forward, it was pure adrenaline shooting through my body. And all of a sudden, something tapped me on the shoulder and said, wait a minute, let's check the pool.
Wesley! Wesley! Wesley!
I pull back the cover, I look, and I see something on the bottom. And I had to look twice because I wasn't really sure what it was. And as I looked again, I noticed that it was Wesley. The next thing I know, I'm on the side of the pool, shaking him. But he's lifeless, totally lifeless. Then I knew it was time to administer CPR.
Come on, buddy! Come on, Wes! Come on, Wes!
I remember my youngest daughter, Katie. She said, Wesley, don't die. After that, Julie came running out and she said, Dad, should I call 911?
Oh, come on, buddy.
I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually real. Because I didn't think it was real until then. I thought it was just a bad dream. But I just remembered what I was supposed to do, and I did it.
Hello, emergency. Hi, my baby brother just fell into the pool. Okay, let me transfer you to the fire department. Okay, stay on the line with me, honey. Okay. Hi, my baby brother just fell into the pool.
Okay. Is he still in the pool?
No, my dad just got him out and he's giving CPR to him.
Okay, your dad did?
Yeah.
Okay, how old is the baby?
He's 1.5.
Okay, your dad does CPR then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's giving him enough CPR?
Right.
Okay, we'll be right there, okay?
Okay.
Engine 101 of the Los Angeles County Fire Department responded immediately. Paramedic Greg Prancevic headed toward the scene.
I have 2 boys of my own. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so it really strikes home. And anytime you get an alarm where it may involve a small child, you tend to get a little bit more excited. You have a tendency to drive a little faster. just for the fear of knowing that it could be your child involved someday.
Sergeant Rick Mellom, on patrol only 5 blocks away from the Gavinish home, also responded to the call.
I don't like these kind of calls. Anything to do with a child, they scare me. Because I have 2 of my own, and they're very precious. And that's the only thing that was paramount in my mind. No matter what it's going to take, we're going to try to save this baby.
Within seconds, the police located the house.
The little girls did an excellent job by helping us out. They just wanted to make sure that their baby brother got help. So I take off, leave my car running, lights going, but at that point I really didn't care. What I have is a potential 2-year-old drowning victim, and we want to save his life.
I didn't know if my son was alive or dead at that time. I thought he was dead, to be honest with you. And I just had to pray to God that he would live.
Sergeant Mellom immediately took over giving CPR to Wesley.
I saw my partner come up, and I picked up Wesley. I said, "Let's go."
When they finally grabbed him and took him away, the only thing I knew was he was not breathing at that time on his own. To me, that meant I had a son that was dead, a young son that was dead.
Fred's driving as fast as he can, without crashing the car, and I was giving Wesley the respirations as we're going down the street, code 3, and I'm yelling at him, "Come on, breathe." It was very important to me, and we had to save this child. I give him a couple more breaths, and then I look up and I see the fire department coming.
Approximately a quarter-mile south of the incident, we noticed a police car flying around the corner, lights and siren. At that time, the captain and I looked at each other and we knew what was happening. We knew that they had the patient in the car and were on the way to the hospital. I saw one of the officers with a small, lifeless boy. As a police officer met me at the back of the police unit, he gave me the small boy and said, "He's not breathing. He doesn't have a pulse."
Give me O2 back here, guys.
Everything just happens so fast. And then you have to sit back and think, well, did I do the right thing? I hope he's going to make it. Just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Paramedic Prancevic kept trying to revive the boy.
We were traveling at a high rate of speed. I remember going around corners, sliding from one side of the police car to the other with a small child in my arms trying to do mouth-to-mouth and CPR. And while I was working on that boy, thinking of my own 2 boys, it was all I wanted to do was to save that boy's life.
I sat there until the police came back to get me. I was very close to breaking down emotionally and very tearful. I didn't know what to do. I felt completely empty.
About a half a mile from the hospital, I noticed the small boy had what we term an agonal respiration. He gasped for air. It was a good sign. All I could remember saying was, "Come on, boy, let's go. Let's start breathing. You can do it."
Come on, buddy. Breathe.
I remember getting to the hospital, and I felt for a pulse. He had a pulse, and it was a very good feeling.
After more than 5 minutes, Wesley finally began to show signs of life.
His heart was beating again, but he still didn't have enough respirations to sustain life, so I supported his respirations by doing mouth-to-mouth.
The Pomona Medical Center ER team was headed by Dr. Robert Stefanko.
We had been notified by the police dispatch that they were on their way, and we were ready for them. The panic-stricken face of the paramedic pretty much told the story. The child in his arms was limp, was peripherally blue, and the time was of the essence. He was teeter-tottering with life.
We go inside, and I saw him moving around, and he was screaming and yelling, and as much as I dislike kids screaming, that was music to my ears, is hearing his screams, because that he was breathing on his own.
I was very happy to hear that baby cry. It made me feel really good. But the happiest moment was to hear Dad say, "Thank you, God, thank you."
My son was gone. He was gone away from me. And I found him 15 minutes later, alive.
The key to survival in a pediatric near-drowning arrest is providing enough oxygen to the brain. And the only way that this can be done effectively is through CPR in the field. And had he not received CPR by the paramedics, the police officer, and Dad, no matter how fast they drove to the hospital, Wesley would not have survived.
Wesley was released from the hospital after 2 days. He has completely recovered. Although he may never remember the Sunday morning when he nearly lost his life, his sisters, father, and Mother Diane will never forget.
I have a deep sense of gratitude for the amazingly fast response of the police and the paramedics. They brought my boy back. You know, it's like the Lord saying, hey, pay attention here. These are 3 precious children that I've given you, and you better take care of them.
I think I will always feel guilty because I could have prevented that accident. And I think it behooves myself and every parent out there to take the steps to prevent the accidents. He's okay, but I'll be more careful every time from now on.
I'd say he's a pretty nice kid, and I'm glad he's still alive.
But he's a pain. He's a pain in the butt.
Next.
It's a dangerous mountain. It's not got the loosest rock in this here, but if somebody knocks a rock off above you, it's going to come right down on top of you.
34-year-old Hummy Man has been an amateur mountain climber for years. On July 25th, 1987, Hummy and his partner Sean Collinsworth began a 4-day trek up the dangerous east face of Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the continental United States. But on this climb, they would never make it to the top.
It's a dangerous mountain. It's not got the loosest rock in this here. There's other mountains where the rocks are more fragile than Whitney. But if somebody knocks a rock off above you, it's going to come right down on top of you.
The mountains don't care. You know, a storm happens, suddenly you develop hypothermia and you die there.
It was the 3rd day. Sean was leading.
In my line of work as a cop, there are a lot of life-threatening and critical situations. One of the reasons why I climb, believe it or not, it's relaxing because it is so intense, it is so focused.
On this day, they planned to climb Mount Whitney's sheer east face to the top and back down again.
It was a little scary. I had not climbed for a while at that altitude. There was what we call exposure of around 1,500 feet. In other words, you look down and it's 1,500 feet straight down.
While trying to reach an area called Long Ledge, Sean and Hummy realized they had climbed too far to one side.
I think we're off route. Okay, I think the ledge that we want to be on is above us. I think this takes us right to it.
We could see the route, and I led up to the long ledge. I had no problem. I just scampered up. In fact, it was like vertical, but the easiest type of vertical climbing. I anchored myself in with 2 or 3 pieces of protection, and then told Hummy to climb up. I could not see him. He was below me by around 30 feet and around a corner. The rope went taut, so I knew he was falling.
You okay?
And there was a tremendous amount of small boulders, and I was listening to the rocks tumble down into the valley below.
You okay? I don't know. I think I broke my leg.
I can tell by the inflection of his voice, he was definitely hurt. I asked him if he could climb up to me. He told me he couldn't climb up. He was in too much pain, and he was afraid of further damaging his leg.
Okay, I'm gonna belay you down to the next ledge, okay? All right.
At 1,500 feet or 2,000 feet, when there's an accident, you're just not lowered to the ground. We both knew that we'd have to make some very critical decisions as soon as we could get together and anchor ourselves into the ledge. He anchored himself in, and then I down climbed and we started doing first aid.
Okay.
And we could clearly see that the leg was broken right around the kneecap. He briefly described what happened. The rock that he was climbing on literally gave away, landed against his leg, breaking the leg, and then falling off to the side. He was left hanging off the rope.
You think you can down climb out of here? Oh man, there's no way.
Because Hummy's injuries were so serious, it would be impossible to get him off the mountain without help.
It was now at around 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon. Even if I would have been able to get help, Hummy would have spent the night there by himself. We both knew that I was going to go below freezing. Two people have a better chance of keeping each other warm, so both of us elected to stay there. And hopefully other climbers would be coming up and we would be able to signal them. Within 2.5, 3 hours, we saw two people coming up. We could barely see them, and what it was literally two black specks.
Help! Accident! Get help!
Sean and Hummy had no idea if any help would arrive before nightfall. But late in the afternoon, a helicopter came into view.
My hopes picked up when a Forest Service helicopter came by and settled no more than maybe 50 feet away. I pointed to my partner, lifted my leg up, pointed at it, and then made a motion like breaking a stick. The pilot did a thumbs up sign at me and then veered off and went back down into the valley. And then all was quiet again.
We have an injured climber on the east face of Mount Whitney.
At 5:45 p.m., the Sheriff's Department called in the China Lake Mountain Rescue Group. Volunteer Linda Finko was the operations leader.
One of my first questions to the sheriff was if we could have access to a helicopter to fly an advance team up there so that they could hopefully get up for him that night. You start some calls on that for us while we try to get our team going?
Field leader Bart Hine and an advance team attempted to land near Iceberg Lake at the base of the east face.
Unfortunately, when we got there, the shadow of the mountain was covering our landing zone, and the pilot didn't feel that he could land safely. So he backed off and went back down to Lone Pine, where we re-met Linda, who was setting up base camp there.
No rescuers would be able to reach Sean and Hummy before morning.
We weren't sure how serious the injury was. We wanted to be guaranteed that we had people up there, so we started an advance team in that night on the ground.
We've got a policy that we try to keep people moving toward our subject all the time. Even though we've got a promise of a resource coming in this case in the helicopter the next morning, if for some reason it doesn't show up, we don't lose all that time.
We were just a hair below 14,000 feet. They weren't going to make a rescue effort. We were just a hair below 14,000 feet. I knew that we could contract hypothermia. Hummy had a space blanket. We were able to get very close to each other and wrap the space blanket, which was made for one person, around both of us.
You're gonna be okay.
You've got people exposed. If they're injured, they're typically maybe going into shock, and now you put this cool weather condition on them. It can help depress the body even more.
When we continue,
you talk about anything just to stay awake because you don't want your metabolism to drop and create a better environment for hypothermia, where you just fall asleep and never wake up.
It had been more than 10 hours since Hummy Man had fallen while climbing the sheer east face of Mount Whitney. He and his partner Sean had no idea how cold it would get, nor how much longer it would take for help to arrive.
You talk about anything just to stay awake because you don't want your metabolism to drop. What that's going to do is create a better environment for hypothermia, where you just fall asleep and never wake up.
You see that down there? We got headlamps coming up.
but the China Lake Mountain Rescue Group was still hours away.
At around 3:30 or 4 in the morning, we were becoming hypothermic. You start shivering. This creates heat. It's a last-ditch effort for the body to create its own warmth. You stop shivering, and then you'll shiver violently, stop shivering, shiver violently, stop shivering. And the shivering mechanism now is shutting down.
After hiking all night, the search and rescue team was nearing Hummy's location. As soon as it was light enough for a safe landing, they were joined by other rescuers who flew in with additional emergency gear.
Good morning, gentlemen. Morning.
A head popped up around 50 feet above us. They said they were going to be with us in a moment. And then I could see several people coming up over and down climbing to start a rescue.
Volunteer Andrew Mitchell examined Hummy's injuries.
He was happy to see us. His knee was swollen, and any movement, he was in a considerable amount of pain.
To have any chance of being picked up by helicopter, Hummy would have to be hoisted up a rock wall to a larger ledge.
It was hurting a lot, but I'm not really sure if I was more concerned about the pain or if I was just scared to death at that point, because it was a lot bumpier a ride than I had expected. Lying there and having your hands strapped so that you can't move them is a very scary feeling, especially when you're 1,200 feet above nothing.
We had to haul a stretcher up 50 to 60 feet, which is about the equivalent of a 6-story building. You can't let your mind wander. One false step or one knot that's tied incorrectly could mean a fall.
We'd already decided that we were either going to have to take him off in a helicopter or take him back down the route. So it was basically up to base camp to get any additional resources we need.
Base, be advised, we have subject on the ledge at this time. Stand by for further reports, over.
The naval weapons helicopter hovered over the pinnacle to see if he could keep the power he would need in order to do a pickoff from that. And with the altitude and all the other conditions intermixed, he just felt it was out of his capability. So our next thing was we had to start looking for a helicopter with some high altitude capabilities. And we got the call that afternoon that Scott Air Force Base had found a Chinook at the Stockton Air National Guard that would be available the following morning to come in and to help us in any way that he could.
Sean was finally able to leave, but Hummy would have to wait through another night on the mountain. A 12-ton Chinook from the National Guard arrived the next morning, but there was no guarantee it could successfully pick Hummy off the ledge.
With a helicopter, you always have a risk of something going wrong. With increased altitudes, rock, and a lot of things that helicopters just don't normally fly in.
We moved Hummy from the ledge we were on further out on the rib, out toward the edge, to get us, far away from the wall as we could to help the helicopter.
Smoke up.
We're short final.
The pilot had to carefully maneuver the massive helicopter to keep the rotor blades from hitting the rock walls.
Okay, go right, 30 feet.
They lowered the line down, had to swing it back and forth to get it over to us because he still couldn't get close enough to the mountain to drop it straight down.
Okay, he's got the hook in his hand. Okay, he's off the deck. He's coming up. Under the load, 30.
When he went out there and got out there, he started spinning like a top. We've never seen that happen on any helicopter we've worked with.
I remember lying in this basket and all of a sudden the helicopter's going around and around and around. So here I am, I'm zipping around and I'm getting dizzy. I'm closing my eyes, trying to hold it all together. Finally, I turned my head and I started looking around at the mountain. And I was looking around at all these peaks and just thinking it was just beautiful. It was a great ride.
2 years later, Sean and Hummy are still good friends, and Hummy's leg has fully healed.
It still sticks in my mind that, the mountains don't care, and I was lucky that there were people out there who were capable of getting me out, and that help wasn't, 5 days away.
He was real lucky that he didn't get killed. I think he's more cautious since that accident simply because he has 2 kids now. That puts everything else into a new perspective.
I remember when we were, during the course of the night, I started crying because I was really, all of a sudden it was the reality of what it was that was going on kind of hit me. The fact that I had a little daughter who was under 1 year old, and I was sitting there going, this could actually do it. This could be the final number. But I just didn't know. I didn't want to end up on that little ledge. There was too much more to go back home to.
Next.
911, may I help you? We need an ambulance immediately. A woman was just hit by a car.
In the city of Pittsburgh, more than 60,000 calls for help are answered each year by the emergency medical services in an average time of only 6 minutes. This is not a recreation. It's a ride with one of the busiest EMS units in the country.
You'll be surprised. You may walk down the street 6 months or a year from now and somebody will come up to you and they'll say, "You took care of me." And say, "Hey, I'm here because of you." And that's really what matters. That really makes you feel great to know that these people do remember you and they appreciate it.
911, may I help you? This is Rich Shelberg. St. Joseph Parish and Mount Oliver. We need an ambulance immediately. A woman was just hit by a car.
What happened to them? It's an older lady. The car must have let loose, but she's hurt. There's 2 in the car, and I think a bike... trapped inside the car? Yes.
I already started the paramedics. Initially, we received a call for a woman thrown from a car. Very shortly after that, we started receiving numerous calls through 911 for a car into a wall, woman hit by a car, possible entrapment involved. I think a total of about 10 calls we received through 911 for this call.
Okay, 5102, 5202, and 5108. We are getting multiple calls, different locations. We have 430 Cathedral Avenue for an elderly female thrown out of the car.
The accident had happened just as church services let out. The car struck a pedestrian, then ran on down a hill into a fence.
You have to physically prepare yourself and mentally prepare yourself before you even get to the call. You have to talk yourself into what you have to do and what things need to be done before you get there. Then you have to keep a cool head, especially when you have a lot of people running around at the scene hysterical. And sometimes the victims themselves are hysterical. If you don't present yourself as a calm person, then you just lose control of the scene.
When EMS Supervisor Jan Gamir arrives, paramedics are trying to sort out the situation and treat the victims.
When I got into the car, I thought everything was okay. Here I discovered that my gas pedal was stuck. And Marie kept screaming, "I can't stop, I can't stop." And I remember seeing someone in front of us, and to tell you the truth, I didn't even know that we had injured that woman at the time.
74-year-old Virginia Bauer was standing in the church parking lot when the car hit her. Ed, her husband of 54 years, watched helplessly.
Is this your wife? You going to the hospital with her, sir? Okay, we're going to put you up in the front of the ambulance, okay? Okay, they're going to be working on her there. She's doing fairly good, okay? Why don't you come on up front here and I'll put you in.
I saw her talking to this friend of hers, so I went over to my car and I locked the car, and I just turned over and I saw her going up in the air onto the hood of the car, and she landed out in the street. It was a terrible experience to see her wife bouncing up in the air.
The woman that was struck by the car was our primary concern at that time. She visually presented herself as the most seriously injured. The driver and the woman in the front seat both said that they were fine, but due to the just the way that the vehicle presented itself, there was some sort of indication that they were obviously injured and they just didn't know about it.
Put your head down. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the pain out here?
Oh, I can't stand that pain. I have to sit up.
A lot of time that's our problems. People think they're okay and they don't want us to take care of them. They don't want us to help them, and then the longer they sit and the more it goes, they find that, things may be going on.
All 4 people involved are taken to the trauma center.
One patient serious at this time, not with the pedestrian. 3 others that were in the vehicle are all minor at this time.
At the hospital, information about the patients is passed directly to the doctors on call.
Unrestrained. passenger, rear seat passenger.
Ready to move? 1, 2, 3.
How you feeling, buddy?
32.
You're feeling all right, huh?
Yeah.
What hurts?
Nothing, just the head.
Good.
The care of the patients really started in the field with the paramedics and EMTs. They have to really triage, decide who's the sickest, and start, and they did an excellent job.
Don't move. Don't move your head.
You don't remember it?
They went,
I don't remember it.
they went down, they hit this woman.
Okay.
It's pretty important. They can tell you a lot. Paramedics can really help you out because they can tell you what the car looked like. They can tell you what was broken in the car. Sort of gives you a clue as to what was broken in the patient.
Trauma surgeon Dr. Mary Jean Crow brings Ed Bauer up to date on his wife's condition.
Hi, I'm Dr. Crow. How are you? Well, we've been taking care of her, and so far what we know is that that she was struck by a car and flipped over the top of the car. What we do know about right now is that she's broken her left arm right near the wrist, and she's got a laceration above her eyebrow, and we're fixing that right now. We want to get a CT scan, a special type of x-ray of her head just to make sure that there isn't anything else going on. We've got lots of other x-rays, but so far those are the only things that we found wrong.
Pittsburgh Emergency 911. Yeah, I'd like a cop to, small tree, please. My daughter stabbed my husband. Small tree? Yeah. What's wrong there? My daughter stabbed my husband. Your daughter stabbed him? Yeah. Is he bleeding? My husband's bleeding like a hog.
At 9 p.m., paramedics are sent to the scene of a stabbing.
In the Hill District, number Moultrie Street, we have a man stabbed, result of a domestic.
Unit 535 will be out of Moultrie. They're in the back of the truck.
EMS arrives within 2 minutes. 61-year-old Richard Horton had been stabbed, apparently by his stepdaughter. He was treated at the scene by paramedic Mike E.
My partner asked him what he was injured with. He said he was stabbed with a fork, and at first thought was just make light of it. Okay, a little fork, maybe just gave him a little flesh wound. But my partner had discovered that what he had been stabbed with was actually a barbecue skewer, and apparently had gone in quite deep.
Left lower quadrant and abdomen, head axillary line. One of those serving forks. But go on, went in that deep.
Sterile still for some barbecue. Okay.
A lot of times you put all your efforts toward the patient, which is correct, but it's at the emotional expense of some of the family.
I know, but you're...
It really becomes a challenge to try to balance out all the emotions and make sure that everybody gets taken care of.
I can't really tell if it goes in to tell you the truth.
Does it hurt deep inside, sir? Does it hurt? It's burning.
Dr. Bill Petriola is one of the trauma surgeons on duty.
There was indeed a puncture wound through the fascia. That being the case, we worry that that puncture wound could have gotten in and punctured one of the vital organs.
We can feel the hole where that fork went all the way through. We're going to have to take it to the operating room. We're going to have to take a look in there and make sure nothing important's been hit.
I saw the car coming toward me.
The next day, Virginia, the pedestrian hit in the car accident, is visited by her husband, daughter, and priest. She escaped with a broken knee, wrist, and shoulder.
We're going to leave now, too, then.
Yeah.
Well, good night. Take care of yourself.
It was beautiful.
During Richard Horton's surgery, it was discovered that the fork missed everything. He will be going home in a few days.
Well, if it wasn't for the paramedics, I don't even think I'd be here today. Because they were so nice and so swift. I think that's what saved me. I don't think it, I know it.
Virginia Bauer has already begun the painful process of healing.
I'll have to get as much exercise as I can if you're letting me go home tomorrow. I hope.
People who helped me were wonderful people. And I certainly appreciate the fact that I am here. Because for 2 days, I didn't think I was going to be here. I just didn't think I was going to make it at all.
That makes your day whenever you receive a little note with people thanking you. It's better than all the money in the world, just a little note to tell you that they really appreciate what you've done for them.
Now you can help.
My brother said
Cold's in this year.
In a moment of crisis, you can make a difference. The emergency numbers for your area should be posted at every phone, and children should be taught how to use them. This series is dedicated to the men and women who put themselves at risk to save the life of a stranger. I'm William Shatner. Join me next week for more true stories on Rescue 911.